Like,
This
what's the
conference will
expectation?
now be recorded.
Yeah. I'm working on MNC based on uh, business analyst. I need to learn. Already, I learned something in basic in Power App, so I need to deep dive on that. So that's why I joined it.
Okay, okay, got it. Okay, guys. Now, see, now 6 people are there. So that you might have understood by now why we have asked for introduction. Okay, this is, like I said, this is not a fixed template kind of thing where I can just run away with my things and all. No, we have to understand first what's the expectation here. Some of you, I think, Sita, Sachin, and Satish. So you are already on the right path, I would say. Why I'm saying right path means you are already working, or you have already done some hands-on on related to the tech stack. That means Satish is having good experience on the SharePoint. So SharePoint and Power Platform go hand in hand. So that is one thing. I think one of you was having Dynamics experience. I think it was Kamal. So Kamal, you are also not far away from that. I mean, model-driven app, and this there is a component of Power Apps. I mean, there is a type of app in model Canva, this Power Apps called model-driven app. So there we all you'll get a look and feel of the Dynamic 365, which you are already supporting since 5 years. Sita, you have already covered one major component of Power Platform, that is Power BI. So good for you. I mean, you have already put one foot in the door. So I mean, either Power Apps or Power Automate will help you. Sachin, same for you. Like you are already working on it. So I mean, you have already taken the next level. So we'll come to you. Coming to Hari and Thiru. So Thiru has done some basic learning on his own, so that's fine. And Hari, you are having manual testing experience, so that's fine. Now, so see, another good thing is when I'm speaking some technical jargon, that won't be a trouble for you. I oftenly have these issues. Like I have one of my batches running where I need to explain each and every small things. What is deployment and what is this environment, all these things. So good for you. You already know all those things. Now coming to Power Platform. Okay, let me discuss a couple of things about Power Platform, and then we'll address individual issues. Okay, I think Sachin was having some questions, so we'll address all those questions. See, Power Platform is basically having four components. Okay, Power Platform is having four components: Power Automate, okay, Power Automate, Power Apps, Power Virtual Agent, which Sachin mentioned, and Power BI, which Sita has already covered. These are the four major components of Power Platform. Now, this entire thing is basically that will give you, I mean, a holistic experience. Like you don't have to go somewhere else when you are planning to develop an app. Now another thing is why there has been a sudden switch toward this Power Apps, or why we are getting these many projects suddenly, is that the infrastructure cost is very less compared to when we compare with other tools or other programming languages. The infrastructure cost is very less. Okay, I'll take you very small example for those who can relate. We have something called SQL Server. Now, if I want to use my database as a SQL Server, there are a couple of challenges out there. You need to install a gateway. You need to enable some firewalls and all. Like there are some infrastructure challenges, and this takes a lot of approvals and all. Cut to that, if we take SharePoint as a data source, which is like one of the most used data sources when we deal with Power Apps, it's online. Satish, if you have worked on SharePoint online as well, so you might know that better. It's online. We don't have to roll out any kind of infrastructure for that. It's already in cloud. So, I mean, the infrastructure challenge is very less when it comes to Power Apps. When we are deploying any kind of app, like suppose we all are like having a meeting, a client meeting. So we'll be doing some requirement gathering and all, right? Now, when we in that case we'll be deciding the data source and everything. So rolling out of, like, suppose your time frame for delivering an application is 6 months, it goes around 1.5 months just to roll out get all the licenses and roll out the infrastructure, set up everything. It takes around 1.5 months for that. That is not the case in case of Power Apps or Power Platform, I would say, not just Power Apps. So that's one. It's time saving. The second thing is the learning curve is very high in Power when it comes to Power Apps. We were just doing the things in the other day, and those who already know it, the word, the verbiage, the terms, the properties, whatever we have in Power Apps, it's very user friendly. Okay, it's very user friendly and it's very easy to learn. There's a reason. Okay, I'm expecting. Okay, since I already have an idea about you guys now, so I'm expecting that before coming here, you already have some I mean, some like 2% or 3% knowledge about what is Power Apps. So you know that this is a low code or no code tool. You might have heard of it, that this is a low code or no code part. Okay, and that is the reason the learning curve is very high, because you don't have to write 500 600 lines of code, unlike other programming languages where I mean, you'll have to write lots and lots of lines of code. So that it makes it easy for, I mean, for the people who are, I mean anyone who's trying to learn it. They don't need any kind of prerequisite for that. They can just start from the scratch. I mean, even if you have to learn very small things, uh, you might need a scripting language, like scripting knowledge or HTML knowledge or React.js. Sorry, not React.js, TypeScript knowledge. Anything, some basic things are needed. In this case, even if you're passed out as a fresher from college, you don't need to know anything. You can start from the scratch. So the learning curve is very high. And the last thing is the cost. So the cost wise also, it's quite cost saving. Like I said, we need some kind of, when we are procuring licenses, okay, we are paying some cost, right? Yearly basis or monthly basis. Cut to this one. Currently those who are working in, I think Tiro is working, Satish is working, I think all of them are almost working. So you all guys are already working, and if you're using Teams, I mean, I hope you're using Teams. If you're using Zoom or Slack, that is a different thing. But if you're using Office 365, I mean, Stack, OneDrive, and Mail, and Outlook, and Teams, and all, so you already have an organizational license. Okay, it's called Office 365 E3 license or Office 365 E5 license, which is already given to you by your organization, so that you can access email, you can access Teams, you can access OneDrive, and all. Now this Power Platform, this Power Apps comes as part of it. So if you have to design very basic app with where the sample size is very less, I mean, suppose 5,000, 10,000, like that. If you have to design a very basic app using free data sources, you can do it. You can do it right away. Even if you have open your laptop, you can hit the URL make.powerapps.com. You can see that you are already having access to it. So that comes as part of the organizational license, which most of us are having. You don't have to procure separate licenses for it. Yes, now when you switch to some premium connectors, then you might need some extra licenses. That is a different topic altogether, but it's quite cost saving. So you save a lot of cost when it comes to Power Apps. So that is the reason. I mean, these are one of the couple of few reasons which is generally like, there's a sudden shift in Power Platform, from because the application rollout thing is very like, it's very fast and it's very quick, and it's time saving, it's cost saving. So yeah, this is from the Power Platform perspective. Okay, before I move forward, any questions, you guys?
No.
Okay. Okay, now before moving forward, let me address a couple of questions which were coming from Sachin. So Sachin, your question was, you wanted to know what are we offering as part of Power Virtual Agent and portals, right?
Yes,
So first,
yes. Right.
sorry to disappoint you, but we are not covering Power Virtual Agent as part of this course. This is strictly for Power Apps. Yes,
Okay.
portals will be, but it will be like just like we are covering Canvas apps, and we'll be covering model driven app, and then we'll be covering portals. So I don't want to give you any like false information or anything. This is not, I mean, if you're looking for Power Virtual Agent, this is not going to help you. But that doesn't mean I won't be answering your queries on that. Okay, and you can, even after the meeting also, if you have any queries on Power Virtual Agent, feel free to reach out to me.
Sure.
You might also know this Power Virtual Agent is a chatbot thing, right? It's for rolling out a chatbot. So if you want to, suppose you don't want to roll out an application, okay, application has a lot of business functionalities and lot of logics and everything. Okay, but if
Okay.
you have a very basic, suppose you want to roll out a FAQ site, okay, where all the informations you have, You already have seen these things when you visit some kind of site. A chatbot opens in the bottom right. Good morning, how may I help you, kind of thing. Then and then you keep typing messages in that, and some automated response comes. So if your requirement is not that high with not much of business logic and everything, and like I gave an example like an FAQ site, that okay, I'll create, just imagine, I'll help you visualize a chatbot for you. Suppose you want to, suppose Vsoft has a Vsoft, which is a training institute, it's having its own chatbot. Now when you hit the site, it will come up with a message, good morning, how can I help you. You will type, I want to inquire about the course on Power Apps. Okay, then it will give you some option, the price, the location, the trainer details, all those things. You'll click on price, so it will tell you what is the price of this course. So these are all informations, right? This is not dynamic. Okay, these are not dynamic. So it's having some kind of information set in the back, and you are just based on the keyword which you are typing. Okay, you are already typing some sentence, but I will find some keyword out of your sentence, and I'll trigger one response for you. So in these cases you can use the chatbot. That is one of the scenarios I'm talking about.
I actually, okay. Actually, I know the basic thing. Actually, I want to understand how we can call API in chat as a virtual agent, and how we can create as a dynamic model. So for that, which kind of component we need to use here? So like that, I want to just explore Power Virtual Agent, and for which cases, for suppose if we have the financial domain, suppose I am working on the financial domain. Okay, so we have the some capex related portal. Okay, and here we just want to understand, means if some user want to understand what the which asset he want to buy, or he want for his department. Suppose he search this thing, so how he get the details from the other external web services. Okay, like that, if suppose if they have used database as a Oracle. Okay, so how we can call those data in Azure Virtual Agent, and accordingly we can show the options. So like that,
No, no,
I want to explore. Hello.
no. So you will have to do that, because that's quite extensive, and that's a completely different topic altogether. So I can't give that response right away. That's a very extensive topic which you're asking about. So it's not like I can immediately tell you about how to do that. I need to open a tenant and show it to you. And so that, like I said, that is not part of this course. So I'll have to move on from that one.
Okay. And can we cover in this? Okay, can we cover delegation warning in Canvas app here? Means how much data we can call from any other external sources. Right now, you know that 5,000 is a data source fetching limitation. So how we can achieve here? So one of the example is that we can create a pagination, or we can collect the data in collection, and we can call 2,000 of record. As second one is a REST API. Apart from that, do we have any other options to call more than I think 50,000 of record?
In Power Apps or
Canvas app. In
in
Canvas app,
Canvas?
I'm talking about. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that is one question I can answer. So yeah, delegation. See, the first thing, limit is 5,000 for SharePoint. It's not for Power Apps.
Yeah, it's
Power Apps
SharePoint. Yeah.
is just 2,000 records only. Okay. I mean that maximum it can reach out is fetch is 2,000. After that, you can take one of the approaches which you are telling. Either you can create multiple collections of 2,000 and fetch the data in batches. The second is the REST API part you're talking about. The third is you can archive data. So if whatever table or whatever request you're working on, you can keep on archiving data after a certain limit. Okay,
Okay.
that is what you can do. Fourth thing, what you can, I mean, see, archiving means I'm saying that suppose you worked on 5,000 records, you don't need them, that you don't need those records in your main table. So just archive it, so that the main table where you're storing the data, it's not having that much of records. So you can keep on archiving data on a regular basis. Another thing is you can write delegable functions. Okay, if you write delegable functions, these issues will not happen. Okay, there are certain delegable functions for different data sources. So if you know how to write that, you won't face that issues. The maximum I have worked is I think 1.5 lakh records in my app
Okay.
in one of my applications, and we are able to do that. So
Okay,
if you
using
write,
delegable function you are talking about.
yes,
Yes, but here, suppose if you have used a grid view here, okay, and in that grid view, suppose I want to show 50,000 of record, so
okay,
we
Sachin,
cannot show all.
let me
Yeah.
stop. Let me stop you right there. We can discuss more in detail after
Oh,
this session.
no.
Okay?
Okay, no
We are we
problem.
are yeah, we are taking time, everyone's time. So yeah, you can
Oh,
hold on to all
so,
your questions, and we'll definitely discuss. You just stay after the call, okay?
okay, sure, sure. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Sorry guys about that. Okay. Moving on. Now the things are like what are the things we'll be covering as part of this course? Okay. That is, I think that's what
Uh,
you.
what, Satish here, sorry to interrupt. So, will this course be covering the Power Automate as well, or it's only Power Apps?
Yes, I'm coming to that. Okay, hold on to that question. Okay, let me show you the course curriculum. I think that would be much better, right? Let me pull the course curriculum for you guys. But before, I'm just pulling that one in the meanwhile. Yes, Satish, to answer your question, we are covering some very basic aspects of Power Automate. Okay, we are not covering the entire thing about Power Automate, but if you know, like if for those who have already designed some basic apps, see when you're designing any application, forget about Power Apps. When you're designing any basic applications, there are certain processes and workflows which you want to run. Which you want to run, right? Suppose when you're creating a request, you want to send out some notification emails. How do you do that? We can do that from the Power Apps also, but we need to have certain like knowledge on Power Automate also. So we will be covering very basic aspects on Power Automate, not very extensive, but things which you need to roll out a application. Okay, we are not going in much detail about the HTTP request or the API connectors and all. No, we are not going there. But whatever is relevant from the Power Apps perspective, we'll be covering that. So that's the answer to your question, Satish. I'll tell you this.
Thank you.
I'll tell you a couple of scenarios. Then you will be able to understand much better that when you're as soon as you're creating an app, you're submitting a request, I want to be notified about that. How do we do that? For that, we need to have a certain kind of Power Automate flow so that some notif we create that entire approval process. So for that also we'll be needing Power Automate. So we are covering these scenarios and then the basics of Power Automate, like what are the different kind of flows we can create, how do we create those. But we are not going very extensively in Power Automate since this is not a Power Automate course. I hope that answers your question.
Is there any sequence to learn first Power Apps and Power Automate like that?
Yes, so first we'll cover all the topics of Power Apps, and once we have a project as well, which we'll be doing live in the classes only. So like when before going to that project part, we'll have to cover that Power Automate. I won't say materials, basically all the weapons to create an app. Then we'll jump onto the app and then we'll start the app. So yes. Now let me share my screen and show you the curriculum that will make you understand better. Let me make it the presenter. I hope my screen is visible. Do you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
this is the course curriculum what we have designed. Now this has been designed more from the what and how kind of perspective instead of just mentioning the topics, because if you are preparing to switch your domain, I mean for this is mostly for helpful for those who are switching for domain, and this gives this kind of course content just generally keeps that in your mind, okay, what and how kind of thing. Because if I just say gallery and then other topics are there, then that would be difficult to remember everything. So we have break it down to individual topics and we are covering all the components here. So this is this is the curriculum, but we are covering performance improvement and everything.
Your
Uh,
curriculum is not.
Hello, we
my
can't
screen is
see
not.
this. No, I think
Your
is a
screen is
Oh,
Teams.
not visible.
okay,
Yeah,
hold
it's
on,
not
hold on.
proper.
Yeah, browser actually. Just a second. Stop sharing. Share screen. Where is the? Okay, let me share the entire screen. Is it visible now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So we start with the introduction first, and then if you don't have a test environment setup, like I believe Sita White might not be having it, and couple of other people might not be having a test tenant. So you need a test tenant, right? Otherwise, how are you going to practice? I can give the lectures all day and I can show you different examples, but what's the point if you're not able to practice it? So we will be rolling out. We have an entire session for that, for rolling out a environment setup for you guys. Once that is done, then we start with the main topics. So like I was saying, we have divided topics in such a way that it's easy for you to remember and easy for you to reference, and we are covering more topics, like we keep on adding new topics. So these are the things which we are covering as part of it. Just have a look. Okay, so whatever components are useful for creating an application, as well as whatever components are there, we are using all those, including all those here. Now those who already have some experience, if you see here, I have not included all the controls because it's all part of other input controls. There is a reason for that. You already know what is a text box, you already know what is a drop down, you are seeing that every day in your life. So I don't want to waste my time and your time by explaining the same thing again and again. We do cover those things. If I can show you quickly, we do cover those things as well, but not in detail, because there's nothing to cover actually. I'm saying this to only persons who who already know about it. Who don't know about it, they are fine, because I mean I'll be guiding them in that manner. But like I think for Sachin and other people who already worked on Power Apps, do you really think I need to explain what is a text box control? No, I need to explain right how to configure property of a text box control. So that's why we have not included all the controls here: text box, drop down, combo box, date picker, all those things we are not mentioning here. Okay, moving on. This is a very important topic. I think this is the core of the Power Apps, the functions, because that's what you're going to write. This is what you're going to do, the functions part. And then how to deploy a solution from one environment to another environment, all those things we are covering. Then comes the model driven app. So we will cover all the relevant topics from the model driven app. And then couple of things like portals, which you were mentioning, the delegation part. Okay, once that is done, so Sita, like you were saying, once the Power Apps part is done, then we go to the Power Automate. Okay, and we start with the basics, and then this approvals part which I was talking about, because that is like a very common functionality used across all the most of the apps. So like if you are creating a request, you need to have certain approvals from your admin or from the manager, something like that. And we have those scenarios in our project as well. So that is one thing we are covering. Basically you will have, I mean we are making sure that you get comfortable with the Power Automate part before you go to the advanced topics, and before you start learning in detail wherever on your own, or you learning some institute, or wherever you're learning, at least you have some comfort over this Power Automate part, and you're able to do the basic activities as part of Power Automate. That's one thing. Once that is done, if you see here, these are the three things we have included. So I mean even developers who are currently working on it, they are not clear about the licenses part, and they don't have access to admin center. Okay, so we'll be giving some information on the admin center as well, what are the different functionalities and what are the licenses you need, because this is a tricky part for most of the developers who are still working out there. Okay, you might be working for 2 years or 3 years, but still if I mean inquire about the licenses part, that might be confusing. Which basically what I'm talking about here, that you, okay, all of you know the development. Suppose you know how to develop some application, that is completely fine, but you should also know that what license a user should have. Okay, you have created an application and send me the URL of that application, that okay, I have very meticulously designed this application, this is for you, that's fine. But if I have to use that application, I need to have some licenses as well, right? As a user, that is the thing. So you, I mean, if you're not assigning proper license to me, you're basically costing it to your company. Something which can be done in 10 by, I mean, that can be done $10 per month. You have assigned the wrong license and now you are charging $50 a month. So this is very important part when it comes to developers. That's why we have included this as well, the licenses and the admin center part. And then we'll be doing a project. So we have a user stories listed out for this, that the projects and all. So we'll have a couple of screens in that, and then the business logic and functionalities which you are going to implement. By the time we are reaching here, I mean, how should I put this? I mean, you are on your own basically when I'm coming here. Okay, this is like I am your client and you are developing a project for me. So by the time we are reaching here, we'll be learning everything, every possible thing which we need to create a project. I mean, more than that. So when you are reaching here, you are doing it on your own. Okay, I'll be there in the session, but you are designing the project. If you're getting stuck, obviously I'll be helping you out, but the expectation would be to do it on your own, like a live project, and make mistakes. It's expected to make mistakes so that you can learn using that. The only reason I'm saying I'm not scaring or anything, the only reason I'm saying is so that you pay attention to the remaining classes, whatever we have. So by the time we are covering all these things out here, if you're paying even 50% of the attention, you'll be able to do the project on your own. So that's the entire purpose of that. It's not that if you're stuck, we are not going to help out or anything. It's not like that. It's just that the expectation is that you pay attention, go through the recording, go through the notes, and get used to it. Like I think it's total 40 to 45 hours of session, where the last 5 hours is for project. So if you are paying attention for those 40 hours, you won't be needing my help for the last 5 hours. As simple as that. We'll be designing everything that is needed for an application, starting from a header to footer to component to containers to galleries to forms, everything. All the business logic, how to write a business logic, how to do the validations, everything we'll be covering in the meanwhile. But if you're not paying attention in those 40 hours, I mean, there's no point coming here. Okay, I'll help you out in that particular scenario, but then what is the point if you're not clear in the previous topics? So if and when you are joining, if you are paying attention for the remaining for the first 40 classes, you won't be needing my help in this last 5 hours. And this is the last part. So this is not a mandatory thing. This is only for people like who are looking for a job change or looking for a job, like certification thing. If you have in when you're preparing your resume, we'll be helping out with the resume. Sita, since you have taken a break, so we'll add a couple of more projects in your resume so that, I mean, why I'm saying that is, let's be very honest, when you're going for interviews, you cannot say that, right, that like you have worked just on one application. That doesn't give a good impression, right? Unless you have worked on 3 or 4 applications. I mean, why would I hire you? Why would you hire someone if he's just worked on one application, right? So you need to project some, I mean, even you have learned it very well and you are the best developer in the world, the first thing which will be happening is the screening of your resume. So we'll add a couple of more projects, prepare you for those projects so that you're able to handle those cross questions and everything. And if you want, then we'll help you out with the certification as well. The certification cost is 3,600. That's the basic certification, PL 900. You guys don't have to give that to us or me. You will pay on your own on the Microsoft site. You'll do your own payment. You'll give your own exam, everything. We'll be helping out with the questions. Okay, we have gathered a set of questions from all the participants all the previous students or the current students who have appeared for this exam. So we have question sets which will, like, if you appear for that exam, 70% of the questions will be coming from that question set. So even I think what day is today, 12th. On 9th, one of my students has cleared it, the PL 900 part. So again, it's optional, it's not mandatory, and it's not like we are not costing anything for it. We'll be helping out with the resume support and the certification thing. And for those who are preparing for interviews, we'll be helping you out with that interviews as well. So basically, we'll be having mock interviews in that case, and we'll be giving you questions like what are different questions which can be asked. So already mock interviews are going on, and people are appearing for interviews. So after their interviews, we check with them what were the questions, what are the questions which was asked. Now you know one topic, but the same topic can be asked in multiple different ways. So we basically prepare you for all those scenarios, and we'll be helping out with the questions of different companies like Wipro, Infosys, TCS, uh, wherever the candidates are appearing for that. So we have a question set for that as well, and we'll help you out with the interview preparations. This is from the course curriculum part. Now, apart from that, once the 40 hours or 45 hours is complete, again, this is also optional, but those who want will be connected for under one more month. That means once we have covered everything and we are here at the end, if you were attentive enough and you were practicing parallelly, well and good. Okay, if you're practicing parallelly, well and good. But if you have not done, because that's what has happened in the past, we have seen that people will join with a sleepy head and they will join with their phone thinking that they will go through the recording later. That happens. Even I used to do that. There's no shame in that. Okay, when I used to go for coaching and all, I used to do that okay, let them, because I'm going for a session at 4 o'clock in the morning or 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm already sleepy. I'm just attending the session, so I'm not in that mood every day. Okay, or if I had a late night, so I'm not in a mood to apply my brain. Fair enough, we understand that. So we'll be helping you out for another 1 month after the completion of course. So it's not like as soon as the 40 hours is done, 45 hours is done, you are on your own way and we are on our own way. No, we will be in touch. So if you are practicing basically in your test tenant, which will be giving out to you. So if you are practicing in the test tenant and if you are stuck somewhere, or if you're having some kind of issues, okay, you can always connect with me for another 1 month. We'll connect, we'll resolve those issues and help you out. Okay, and for those who will be preparing for interviews, again, like I said, we'll be in touch for the mock preparations and the interview experiences and helping out with the interviews. What is the thing which is bothering you, or what is the thing which is, because of which you are getting rejected. So for another 1 month also, we'll be there to help you out. We're not charging anything for it. It's completely optional, and that depends on you if you want to reach out to me or not. I won't be calling you, or none of us from the institute will be calling you and asking you like that. Okay, we don't want to bother you with you that. If you have any questions or if you're stuck somewhere, you can always reach out to me for another 1 month. So this is one thing I'm telling you. I hope you're getting the point here. Okay, we don't want to intrude your privacy or intrude you with any spam or anything. No, we are there for another 1 month, because that's when the practice starts happening, right? Once you go out once the session is completed, once you have the recordings, once you have the notes, everything, and once you start learning, then the doubts will come. Unless you do that, everything is good for you. So if you are doing it parallelly with the session, well and good. But if you get some doubts after the session, once the course is complete, feel free to reach out to me for another 1 month. We are there to support anything. Either it's interview, or you're designing application and you're getting stuck, you're getting some errors or anything. We'll be there for another 1 month. So that's one more thing. So I hope that's clear. Any questions? Anything?
So may I know the timings, class timings?
So currently already two batches are going on, one in the morning, one in the evening. So if again, since we are almost closing that session, so depends, Sita, we'll have to discuss that. We'll take your timings as also as preference, don't worry. If you're not able to join on a particular time, we will try not to keep that not try not to keep the session on that particular time. Definitely it's not going to be early morning, okay, because basically I'm right now I'm in US, okay, so your early morning will be late night for me, but there's no timing constraint, that I can assure you. If you're not able to join on a certain time, we'll try not to keep it on that particular time, so that I can assure you. It depends how many people are there in that particular batch, right? I cannot commit on the time at this point.
When this new batch is gonna start?
I think that you can check with I think you can check with Subbu. Okay,
Okay.
we the batch is going to complete next week, so we can start it next week also. But like I said, before doing that, I mean, first we'll see how many of you are interested and how many of you are interested from the previous. I mean, we need to see how many students are there. Based on that, we have to decide, and we need to check with you guys also. Is that time comfortable for you or not? We don't want. I mean, we don't generally have a strict timing kind of thing that okay, you have to join at this time only. Once the time is decided, that don't think like it will happen anytime. Once the time is mutually decided, then the classes are going to happen at that time only, but we need to take into consideration everyone. So it's for that applies for you also. I think Satish, you were the one who was asking this. Suppose you are both Sita and Satish,
Yeah.
both of you are interested, suppose, so we'll have to check with you if the timings are working for both of you or not. That's the thing. We don't want to impose any particular time on, I mean, on you, but okay, join 6 o'clock in the morning or 6 o'clock in the evening. It should mutually work for all of us.
Okay, and also the what are the current batches are going? That's every day or on weekends?
So that's on 5 days a week, Monday to Friday. We don't have
Okay.
any classes on weekends because most of them are working. So I mean, even they want a break. I don't want to spoil their weekends. We did
Yeah,
have one.
got it.
We did have one. I think 1 or 2 weekend classes because I mean, we were not able to. I mean, I think I was not able to conduct 2 classes one time. I mean, I was having some surgery and also, but that was an exception. We are not having classes on weekends.
Okay, thank you.
Like I said, I would have gone through the PPT and everything. If you want, I can show you. But I think, how is that helpful? Tell me that. If you, we should better talk about more from the realistic perspective instead of just one-sided showing you what is Power Platform, what is Power Automate, and all. Do you really care about that at this point? You're interested more in the things which are relevant. I think not. I mean, do you really are you really interested in understanding the difference between Canvas app and model-driven app at this point? So that's why I'm saying I know there are demos happening like that only, and that's good for them. I'm not I mean commenting on that one, but this is our way. If you are you're joining a demo for understanding the course structure, understanding the course, and how is that helpful for you? This is not a training environment, right? We are not training you at this point. Or how is that relevant if I start speaking about the difference between model driven app and Canvas app? Do you even care? So I hope that's okay with you guys. If anyone wants to understand more about that it's fine by me. I can go ahead with that one.
Will you be able to
Anything?
share the curriculum which you just
Yes,
showed in the document so that we can go through that
yes.
also?
Let me sharing
And
that. Let
then,
me make a note. Yeah, I'll ask Shubhu to share that course curriculum. Anything else? You're saying something? Come on.
no, I'm just looking for the earliest start date when we can start this session. So earlier we decide then because weekdays we are also working, so we have to accommodate that time accordingly. So please
Right.
let us know.
Yeah, that's why I'm see that is the reason. No, that's the reason I'm not commenting on the time. If I say 8 o'clock in the morning and one of you is having night shift. Is it possible? No, right? So we have to understand. I mean, first we have to understand who all are interested, and then we have to get the comfortable timings for all of you. Based on that, we'll find a common time, right? I cannot. That's the reason. Don't think that I'm not able to make that decision. It's not that the decision is in my hand only, because my time should also match. Okay, I'm having entire time zone difference. Okay, me and you are having currently 9.5 hour difference right now. So that's the thing. We have to, if one of you is working night shift, or if one of you is working late night, or you are not able to wake up early in the morning, all those things we have to take into consideration. So first we'll see how many of you are interested, and based on that we'll find a common time and the start date for the course. So you can discuss that with Subbu and he'll get in touch with me. We can I can
Okay.
tell you that we can do, like, we can start by next week. So I think that should be fine.
Okay. If I'm interested to come on the weekends also, is that possible, or you strictly adhere to weekdays only? Because
I
sometimes
mean,
weekend is more flexible with the timing. Weekdays we have very restricted window, right?
I think it's a 1 hour session, so I hope you can find out 1 hour at least in the weekdays.
Anyway, that should be fine from my side, but just was asking if there is any option on weekend. Anyway,
Weekend we don't have any,
so-
weekend we don't have any classes on weekend, so that's one thing.
okay, fine.
I'll tell you one more reason for that. Okay, we are covering 5 hours a week, right? If we are just having classes on weekends, that will be like around, we'll have to cover 2 hours or 3 hours on Saturday, 3 hours on Sunday, and then that's a spoiled sport, because after 1 hour, I mean, people are having a hard time to pay attention in the classes. They'll start, I mean, they're not paying attention. So 3 hours is a very long time in a day. So that
Understand.
marathon class is a good idea actually.
Okay, noted.
Okay, then in that case, I'll roll out the course curriculum for each one of you. If you are interested in joining, well and good. If not, and if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Don't think that you are not joining, so you can't ask any questions. I mean, from one industry colleague to another industry colleague, it's completely fine. Any questions, even from the career perspective or tech stack, anything is fine. Don't think that. I mean, it's not a hard and fast rule. So if you want to connect on anything, feel free to reach out to me. Okay, it's not necessary that you have to join this course and then only you can get in touch with me. It's nothing like that. And I think, Sachin, you can stay. You are having some questions on Power Virtual Agent, so we'll discuss on that.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Thank you
So
very much.
who will be reaching out to us to get like more details, further details, like
So I think one of the guys might have WhatsApp you or emailed you, right? The demo link and all.
yes. Okay.
So I think his Subbu he's the one. You can get in touch with him.
Okay, fine. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Yep. Thank you. Have a good night. Carry on. Hari, any questions?
Uh, Thank you, Kumar.
Yeah. Thank you. Have a good night. Yeah, Sachin. So like I said, Sachin, this course is not going to help you out. So I think you have to look for something else. But we are not covering Power Virtual Agent as part of this. So